Hey, today we're going to focus in on our lower body, opening up our hips, thighs, and hamstrings. So buckle up, come onto your mat. And we'll set up in down dog. So you're going to place your hands, wrists straight across, wrists under your shoulders, tuck your toes and lift your hips, up and back for dog. Okay, feet and your hips width apart. Feet straight forward. Go ahead and bend your right knee deeply. Spin your heels to the right till your left heel roots on the floor. And swing your right leg in front of and across your left. And flatten your hands, arms straight. Broaden that whole left side of your body. Okay, come on back to center. And second side, bend your left knee, turn your heels to the left till your right heel roots. And swing your left leg across your right. Okay, just like down dog, hands flat, arms steady. Gaze towards your knees, lift your right hip up high. Okay, back to center. Come forward for plank, legs straight for low plank. Keep your shoulders lifted, lower your hips. For Cobra, point your feet, pull your chest forward as you come up. And exhale, down dog, tuck your toes and lift your hips up. Inhale, you're going to step your right foot to the outside of your right hand for low lunge. Lower your back knee super gently and turn your right foot at a diagonal to the right. Just make sure your right knee points the same direction as your foot. And so far as you can keep that alignment, you can bend your elbows and settle in. Even come onto the forearms so far as that right knee doesn't buckle in. Okay, root your right heel heavy. It'll plug your right thigh into its hip socket and open up that right hip deeply. And come on up. Step back, down dog. Okay, second side. Inhale, step your left foot to the outside of your left hand for low lunge. Lower that back knee gently. Either point or flex the back foot, whichever feels more comfortable for your knee. And turn your left foot at a diagonal to the left. Make sure your left knee points the same direction as your foot. And just give it a few breaths for your hips to open and settle in. And without moving that front foot, pull it back towards the wall behind you. This is just square your left hip back. This will make it more of a hip opener. Okay, come on up and step back for down dog. Bend your knees enough to plug your thighs up into their hip sockets to create a lift out of your low back. And inhale, come to the balls of your feet. Exhale, bend your knees, look forward, step or hop to the front of your mat. Feet straight, hips width apart. Inhale, halfway up, legs straight. Hands on your hips, shoulders back. And stand. Hey, and keep your feet hips width apart. I'm going to turn the face towards you so you can see. And bend your knees deeply like a downhill skier, hands on your thighs. And shift weight into your right foot. Rest your left shin across your right thigh. Flex your left foot. Okay, literally take your right hand against the left sole of your foot to flex it. Okay, and left hand against your inner left knee. Lift your inner knee up against your hand to set your left inner thigh down. Hips down. Okay, step down and second side, weight in the left foot, right shin across for a figure four. Flex the right foot, sit heavy. Okay, and take this left hand against the right sole of your foot to remind it to flex. Right hand against your inner right knee, lift your inner knee up to set your right inner thigh back, hip sit back. Okay, step it down. Okay, reach your arms up overhead. Exhale, bow forward. Touch the floor. Bend your knees enough to touch. Shift weight into your right foot. Step your left foot way back. Like a lunge. And anchor your left heel like a warrior two. And stretch your arms out and at a diagonal towards the upper left corner of the room. Come onto your fingertips. And use your hands to set your weight heavy in your left sole of foot to plug your left thigh up into its hip socket. And create a release in your back. Reach out through your arms, widen your right knee right. Okay, you're gonna walk your hands to the center, between your feet, okay, towards the wall to your left. You can turn your right foot in and turn your left foot towards the back edge of your mat. Same pose, second side. Bend your left knee deeply over your ankle like warrior two. And stretch your arms out and towards the back right corner of the room. Okay, come on to fingertips. Use your hands to push your right sole of foot heavy. And that'll plug your right thigh up into its hip socket to help release your back. Widen your left knee. Wrap your left hip under. Okay, walk your hands down the middle. Turn both feet towards the wide edge of your mat. Make sure your feet are even and straight. Bend your knees enough to touch the floor. And so far as your low back is clear, you can bow right down the middle. Okay, we even both in the heels as much as the tops of your feet. That's how you know your hips are stacked over your knees. Hips and knees are stacked over your ankles. Okay, and lift halfway up. Hands on your hips. It's okay to bend your knees to clear your hip flexors to come up. And stand. Okay, shorten your stance a couple inches. Turn your feet towards the corner edges of your mat. Bend your knees deeply. For goddess pose, knees as wide as your feet. Rest your right elbow on your right thigh. Reach your left arm by your ear and spin your chest open towards the ceiling. Keep that left heel heavy. Left knee bends even with your right. And second side, left elbow on your left thigh. Right arm by your ear. Turn your chest open. Keep that right knee bent even with your left. And lift both arms up like I surrender. Okay, lift your chin up. Don't let your eyes bug out. Don't let your jaw clench. Sit heavy. Okay, straighten both legs. Turn your feet straight on towards the wide edge of your mat again. And bow down the middle. Touch the floor. You can step your feet back into that wide stance as you fold. Right. Straighten your arms out. Lift halfway up. Fingertips on the floor. Turn your right foot to the front edge of your mat and frame out your right foot at the top of your mat like a lunge. And step back. Down dog. Okay, right knee forward for pigeon. Okay, pigeon, right knee all the way to the right edge of your mat. Square your hips. Come onto your forearms and let your hips sit back and heavy towards the floor. Okay, and reach your right hand back for your left foot for a quad stretch. For a twisted thigh stretch, you get taller if you need to reach the foot. You can hop up onto the left hand. As you start to open your quad deeper, you can come onto your left forearm. Just keep the weight centered on your back thigh. So you draw your heel towards your outer hip. Engage your back foot, tip your hip up towards your heel. Inhale, gently release. Step back. Switch sides, left knee wide for pigeon. Hey, pigeon, left knee all the way to the left edge of your mat. Square your hips. Come onto your forearms. And give it a few breaths. Allow your hips to sit back and heavy. Okay, reach your left hand for your right foot for a thigh stretch. If you're unable to reach the foot, get taller. Hop up onto your hand. You also use a strap or a towel, whatever you need to lasso the foot. If you still can't quite reach, let it go completely. Foot to the floor. Thigh stretch and gently release. Step back. Down dog. Inhale, plank. Legs straight for low plank. Inhale, Cobra. Okay, exhale, down dog. Inhale, step your right foot between your hands, warrior two. Anchor your left heel, come on up. For side angle, right forearm to your right thigh, left arm by your ear. Turn your chest towards the ceiling. So far as you can keep your chest lifted, hit touchdown for the full pose. Right hand to the outside of your right foot, to the floor, block. Widen your right knee, turn your chest open. Okay, hands to the floor, step back. Down dog. Second side, inhale, left foot forward. Warrior two. And side angle, left forearm to your left thigh, right arm by your ear. Spin your chest open towards the ceiling. Okay, as much as you can keep your chest lifted. You touch down to the outside of your left foot for the full pose. Okay, hands to the mat. Step back, down dog. And step your right foot to the outside of your right hand. Step your left foot to the outside of your left hand for a squat. You can micro adjust as you need so your heels stay rooted. You press your triceps against your inner knees against your triceps. And go ahead and sit down to the floor. Lie on your back. And bend your knees, place your feet. Ankles underneath your knees, feet hips width apart for bridge pose. Root your feet down. Lift your hips up, lift your low back up. You could either clasp your hands underneath you or arms alongside you, palms spin up. Whichever gives you leverage to walk your shoulders up and underneath you. And lower your hips. Gently press your hands against the root of your thighs. And keep your neck neutral to keep a neutral low back. Okay, you're gonna rest your right shin across your left thigh like a figure four, like we did standing. You reach your arms out like cactus arms. Let both legs fall to the left till your right sole of foot hits the floor. Angle your right knee towards the ceiling, lift your right toes up off the floor. And look right, root your right shoulder down. And come on back. Second side, rest your left shin across your right thigh, figure four it, flex your left foot. Let both legs fall to the right till your left sole of foot hits the floor. Angle your left knee up, lift your left toes up off the floor. Look left, root your left shoulder down. Okay, back to center for happy baby. Bend your knees, hold your shins or your feet. Either hold it still or rock and roll, whichever feels better on your back. Rock it on up to sit, please. And stretch your right leg out. Bend your left knee in. For Janu Shirsasana, reach your left hand for your right foot or shin or leg. Whatever you can get. And more importantly than reaching your foot, get your right leg to root down completely. And twist to the right as you bow. And inhale, come on up. And second side, left leg out. Right knee in for Janu Shirsasana. Twist to the left, reach your right hand for your left foot or shin or thigh. Okay, just make sure this left leg is rooted to get the most effective hamstring stretch. And to also protect your low back. Weight in your right hip, twist left and fold. Okay, inhale, come on up. Bend both knees in, soles of your feet touch. Hands behind you. Widen your knees apart. Allow your inner edges of the feet to come apart. Flick your toes up for Baddha Konasana. Okay, you breathe here. If your knees are even or below your hips, you'll come forward. Okay, if you go to come forward, if your knees are above your hips, or if you feel the hip flexors start to grip, okay, hands behind you, create more of a lift in your back. Okay, hold corresponding hand to knee. Close your legs gently. All the lower body stretches today. Really good for the knees, ankles, hips, all the way up to your back. And Hope you enjoyed. Thanks for coming. See you next time. Namaste.